Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you is something that I've compiled, which speaks to the rhetoric, which speaks to the insane temperature of which all of a sudden, the people who have told you can't have your gun rights, the people who have told you you need to accept common sense gun regulations, are now out there from the rooftops saying we need to lower the temperature, even though the very reason the temperature is through the roof is the exact same people. Now, the point of this video is not to lay blame at anyone's feet. The point of this video is to point out the rhetoric that has been used and to back off the rhetoric, but the only problem is it's going to highlight the fact that the Democrats do not have anything else except the rhetoric of Trump is a demon. I'm going to walk you through everything. Everything will be linked in the description box below. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on because no one wants to be victimized by this guy. See this? This green one-horned evil subscribe-eating monster? Yeah, he's out there. He's the algorithm. He's looking to deprive you of your Second Amendment freedoms. So make sure that you don't get interrupted on your quest for your Second Amendment freedoms by that guy right there, by him consuming an unsatiable lust for censorship, your subscription. So check that bad boy. Make sure it is good. And this content is made possible by Aura. I'm going to say a quick word, and then I'm going to show you what I got. Financial fraud happens everywhere in the United States every single day. And like you, I am vulnerable to it as well. My own personal story, my wife has had her credit card stolen while she was getting gas and would never have noticed that our money was being used incrementally across the United States had she not been looking directly at the app when it was occurring. It is because of this story that I'm happy to partner with our sponsor, Aura. Now, Aura is an easy-to-use app that includes everything you need to stay safe online. In fact, recently, Ticketmaster was hacked and the data of 560 million users were put up for sale on the dark web. Aura protects you from scammers and hackers by scanning the dark web where criminals sell stolen information, looking for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers. It alerts you fast if it finds anything. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now at Aura, they will give you a 2-week free trial with my link. Go to my sponsored link, aura.com, in the description box below and get your 2-week free trial for yourself. And thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring this content. All right, so let's get right into this. I want to show you a few videos, and this is some stuff that I've put together that speaks to a very important pattern. And I'm going to highlight it right here, and please make sure you share this out, because this is the type of stuff that you need to share just to bring exposure to what we are dealing with, okay? The first thing I'm going to show you is a little disingenuous, particularly when it's Jake Tapper, who all of a sudden has abandoned anything Democratic. Now it's just anything and everything against the Democrats and against the rhetoric. But he's also responsible for what he's about to be preaching against. Let's get it. Let me turn the volume up, and let's start this process.
Can see those with whom they disagree as the enemy. Too many Americans see those with whom they disagree as the enemy, to be shunned, to be banned, to be ostracized, to be threatened with violence, or even to have that violence carried out. As with so many prior acts of violence, we right now see too many awful responses out there to this hideous attack on former President Trump. Responses that are part of this trend. That includes those who, without evidence, are blaming this act of violence on those with whom they have disagreements. We are praying for former President Trump's recovery today and praying for his family and for those victims of the attack. And we urge in the strongest possible terms that this election and all our political differences must be determined by ballots and votes, not by bullets, and that this rhetoric of dehumanization stop.
Okay, you get the idea. This rhetoric of dehumanization. Okay, everything that you've heard for 8 years en masse has been Trump is Hitler. Supporters of Trump are Hitler. You can't be friends with them. You can't have family members with them. If you voted for Trump or your spouse voted for Trump, they should divorce you. He's going to destroy democracy. All of these things have been the mainline campaign promise of the Democratic Party. Now, they use the exact same language when they're trying to take our gun rights. They do the exact same tactics. You don't want common sense gun reform? Why do you want children to die? You don't want common sense gun regulations? You must be a monster, putting profits over people. All of these things We have an epidemic of gun violence in our nation, brought to you by the dark money pools and the gun lobby. All of these things are all rhetoric that raise the temperature, and they're coming from the left. Okay? I just want to show you someone. You might recognize him. Oh, look at that. Remember this speech? I'm going to walk you through this. This is the highlights and the excerpts from the red speech. I'm going to reload it actually really quickly just to make sure it works properly. But this is the President of the United States who was saying this about fellow Americans. This, guys, you can't make this up. This really happened. This is part of the historical record. Let's get it.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards. Backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy.
Well, that's a good point to stop, isn't it? A clear and present danger to our democracy. 8 years of that is how you get what happened to President Trump. 8 years of this is how you get throwing your rights down the toilet. This is demagoguery. This right here is a terrifying, the red speech, it's a terrifying display of authoritarian power. All the while blaming Trump for being an authoritarian and inspiring people to attempt to kill him on national TV. This is weaponizing the military. This is weaponizing imagery. This is weaponizing historical foundational locations. Everything about this is meant to demonize the opponent and uplift the individual. Now, I'm going to play the rest of it here. We'll do another minute. But again, remember what Jake Tapper said. The dehumanization rhetoric has to stop. Well, have we told the president? Okay, let's keep going.
While the threat to American democracy is real, I want to say as clearly as we can, we are not powerless in the face of these threats. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. We told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it, protect it, stand up for it. Each and every one of us. We're all called by duty and conscience to confront extremists who put their own pursuit of power above all else. We must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. The MAGA Republicans believe that for them to succeed, everyone else has to fail.
Well, I mean, personally, I can't imagine where we'd get all the rhetoric. I can't imagine where the temperature would be high. This is coming from the exact same president who last night on a national announcement from the Oval Office literally said lower the temperature. Hello? Okay. So now we've stated what Jake Tapper has said on CNN. We've shown you the president of where the rhetoric came from in the famous red speech, which is going to live in infamy as one of the most tyrannical speeches from a president. But now let's go over to what's happening after the shooting. I'm going to jump over here. This is ABC News yesterday talking about the Biden campaign making big changes. It's weird there'd be big changes. I wonder what they are. Let me show you, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening here. Check this out.
So the fact that the president is trying to reach out to Donald Trump is, again, another sign that he is showing or trying to show the American people that now is not a time for politics. We know that his campaign has really hit the pause button. They've pulled down all of their political communication, pulling their ads off of the airways, trying to really, lead and encourage the nation to sort of take a beat here. That even though we are now days away from the Republican National Convention, the president recognizing, what a really not just divisive, but you know what a tinderbox moment this could be for the country, and trying to just dial everything down, David.
Okay, well, we're trying to dial everything down, David. They're trying to pull their ads, and the Biden administration is trying to say, like, well, we don't want to do anything offensive at our tinderbox moment, so we pulled our ads. You want to know what those ads were? Those ads were all pre-bought and pre-filmed, all saying that Donald Trump was a threat to democracy. They were all using the same rhetoric that we just showed you in the Red speech. The reason that they pulled them is because they would look bad and be a detriment to their polling efforts if they played them out after Trump had an assassination attempt. What you're seeing is manipulation. But if that wasn't enough, I've got another guy. Look, it's a Democrat from Colorado. Again, we're just going to roll with this. Check this out. This is what he says has to happen. And this is interesting because even the media is saying something mimicking or emulating Jake Tapper. Listen to this one.
I want to ask you about rhetoric. At a distance, everyone has gotten very heated, obviously, in the past 24 hours. But I'm talking leading up to it. Democrats have referred to Donald Trump as a sociopath, as a narcissist, who have been in, and this isn't just heated campaign rhetoric, direct verbal criticisms in very heated terms. Do you think at this moment all of that should stop?
I think right now, on the heels of an attempt at what appears to be an attempted assassination attempt by all the evidence that we're seeing right now, we all need to take a step back. We all need to take a breather.
Has Democratic leadership told you to do that?
They have not. This is my opinion. Although I've seen other Democrats come out with that message, and the president said as much last night.
All right, so I'm going to pause this guy because whatever, we might hit some stuff he said later. But the big important thing here is understand, even CBS goes, you know, actually the Democrats have made it part of their national platform of demonizing a human through intensely insane rhetoric, comparing him to Hitler and a sociopath and all of these things and a threat to democracy. Has the Democratic leadership said stop? No. Oh, well, that's weird. Why do you think that is? And this is the last piece on this clip. I got one more for you. Why do you think that would be? Is it because they don't have a campaign platform they can run on that does not demonize Donald Trump? In the 2020 election, the entire campaign platform was Donald Trump as a demon. Biden didn't do anything positive. It was highlighting the fact that Donald Trump is a demon. 2024, you've seen the exact same stuff. All of Biden's campaigning, all of his speeches, everything, Donald Trump is a demon, threat to democracy. They don't know how to operate where there's been an assassination attempt in that space, because now they can't attack him anymore on these things because it inspires violence. You're about to see something very fascinating. And the last thing I've got for you guys, this video is running a little long, but it's because I love you guys. Listen to what the CNN Republican says in the exact same vein of Jake Tapper and Norah O'Donnell. I think that's Norah O'Donnell. Doesn't matter.
The rhetoric around him over the last few weeks, that if he wins an election, our country will end, our democracy will end, it's the last election we'll ever have. These things have consequences, okay? I don't know what the motivations of the shooter are. I don't know any of the details, but I know the rhetoric around Trump has grown extreme. You mentioned some other violence. You didn't mention the Supreme Court, attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice, or the congressional baseball game where Steve Scalise was nearly murdered. One a conservative, the other a Republican. But we have people in this country who are dedicated to telling half the country that if Donald Trump wins an election, the country will end, the Constitution will go away, and so on and so forth. What I want to hear from all elected officials is this kind of hyperbolic extremism has consequences and it must end. Yes, we're all shocked, and yes, political violence has no place. Where does it come from? It's got to stop.
But we're also hearing
the rhetoric around.
Sorry. I'm going to go big for this part because this is a very important piece. Everything that I showed you, and I'm trying to put this in a concise package, but I think it's important to document it exactly like I just did. Everything that you're seeing has been propagated by the media. The insane temperature has been fomented by the media. The high-level Democrats, in an effort to get it covered by the fomenting media, have made extreme rhetoric part of their campaign platform. That's the entire platform. So when you're talking, whether it's about gun rights, whether it's abortion rights, whether it's immigration, whether it's the presidency, everything relates back to an extreme rhetoric and hatred for your opponent. The media parrots it, because it gets good clicks and has emotional response value. What you are seeing is the outcome of those exact same things. In the clip that I just ended with on CNN of the Republican, I think his name was Scott Jennings, you've had Supreme Court justices threatened at their house. You've had congressional members on the Republican side killed or shot on a baseball field. And now you've had a presidential candidate on the Republican side attempted assassination. The three things there is one side is being fed rhetoric that they are activating on. Not all of them, but the extreme portion, the portion that has serious concerns. Understand where we're at in our culture is because the combination of a Democratic Party taking advantage of the political norms that they've established and the media parroting them. And that's what we've got. I've got so much stuff for you. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the next one.